Welcome, ladies. Please come to a seated position with your hands in front of your heart. Bow your head forward, lengthen your spine, and close your eyes. Before we start, I would like to thank all the wise women, all my teachers, and all the women in my life who has taught me everything I know today. My teachers and my friends. Place your hands on your thighs, open your knees slightly, place one hand on your heart and the other on your womb. Keep your eyes closed and notice your breath in and out. You can spend as much time during this practice with your eyes closed as you can to send your attention inwards, tuning in with the wise woman inside of you and with all the wisdom that lies within this time of the month, your moon cycle, your moon time. Placing the hands on the knees and then finding a couple of props. You can use a bolster, a couple of pillows, a duvet. Keeping the knees apart, placing the props between your legs. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale, folding forward. Coming into a supported child's pose. Keeping your head face towards one side. Make any adjustments you need. You can keep the props close to your body, or you can have space between your belly and the props. Finding rest here, finding a position that works for you. We're going to stay here for a while, continuing to keep our eyes closed. This is the time to go in, to shut the world outside out, and to listen to the body and to the wisdom that she carries. We are naturally tired, exhausted, in need of rest during this time of the month. And it is okay to honor this. It is okay to give our body this time, this rest. In yoga, we are learning to honor our moon time, giving the body what she needs. Anatomically, our bodies need more rest because of the process that she's going through. And this is reflected in our energy levels because our hormone levels have fallen due to the process that we are going through at this time. Slowly, I would like you to move your head towards the opposite side so that the neck can get a twist in the opposite direction, continuing to keep your eyes closed. And just draw your awareness towards your breath, in and out. Seeing if you can relax your shoulders, your jaw, your eyebrows, and your forehead. Any other muscle in your face that may be tightening, holding on during this time. Inhale. Exhale. Finding that rhythm with your breath. During this time of the month, this connection between our awareness and our breath is more available to us. It comes often easier to us. And it feels quite natural for many women, especially when we continue to practice slow and mindful during this time of the month. Keeping your inhales deep and your exhales long, without forcing, without pushing, without wanting. Just inhale deep, exhale long, keeping your eyes closed, your shoulders and your jaw relaxed. During this time of the month, we like to keep our bodies closed. Therefore, child pose is a wonderful position in the beginning of our practice. And slowly coming up to a seated position, removing the props to the side, and finding a downward facing dog if it feels okay to you. There's no forcing during this time. This is only to have the blood circulate through the body, lengthening through the spine, just having a little bit of movement through your legs. And if it feels okay to you, you can walk your hands to your feet, having the arms folded, dropping the head heavy, and hang here, allowing the neck and the spine to decompress. You can move from side to side, just swaying if it feels okay. Of course, keeping the knees bent if that is okay to you. Slowly walking the hands back into a downward facing dog. Breathing deep, exhale long. Slowly move your right leg into a pigeon pose. So the right heel is by the left hip. Inhale and exhale, folding forward. Now you can come to a regular pigeon here with the upper body towards the earth, or you can move a prop underneath your upper body and underneath your right sit bone. This time of the month is all about comfort, all about relaxation, and nothing to do with forcing and pushing. So if you do want to prop yourself up, this is definitely the time to do so. This position is a wonderful release for the seat, the hips, and therefore the lower back. And we know that the lower back can be sensitive during this time due to the process happening inside our womb. And the womb is closely placed to the lower back. It's placed quite far down in our abdomen and can therefore affect the areas around itself. Just finding any position that feels okay to your neck, to your hip, to your spine. Keeping your eyes closed and your jaw and shoulders relaxed. And folding forward is a very natural thing for our bodies to do during this time. It brings us inward, and also it brings us closer to the earth, whereas a back bend or heart opener will bring us closer to the universe. And during this time, it is natural to desire closeness to Mother Nature, because our bodies are naturally very in tune with Mother Nature during this time, as our bodies originally were in sync with the moon during this time, and many of us still are in sync with the moon, and women are very much affected by the moon during this time. And slowly place your hands underneath your shoulders, removing the props to the side. calmly come into a downward facing dog. Having that blood circulation coming back into the legs. And when you feel ready, come down to your knees and we start to move into a wild cat. So this is a cat-cow variation that is more free-flowing, more feminine, more in tune with the body. We simply just let the body flow. If you feel more comfortable with a traditional cat-cow, then that is your privilege. And slowly moving the left leg into a pigeon pose. The left heel is by the right hip and prop yourself up. So for a yin variation of this pose, I like to put a pillow underneath my bum and then a pillow in front of me and exhale coming forward. So while I was talking about Mother Nature, a lot of you may think of the moon as being a part of the universe, which is true, but Mother Earth and the moon is very feminine symbols in yoga and many other traditions. So by folding forward, we are connecting to the earth, we are sending our awareness inwards, and this moon time, this time of the month itself is very connected to the moon, as is our cycle as an entirety. This is the time that we are more in tune with universal energy. We are more in touch with our intuition and our dream time. We are more in touch with our inner wisdom, and we can feel more sensitive and have a desire for darkness and stillness. And in yoga, we honor this. Keeping your breath deep and long. Finding that stillness. And you might experience this connection with the universal energy in the form of visions, clarity, ideas, solutions. And that is exactly what this time of the month is for. We are leaving the previous cycle and month behind, and we are rinsing it out, preparing for the month and the cycle to come. Lifting the upper body, placing the hands underneath the shoulders. Once again, moving into your downward facing dog. And of course, this down dog is not the position for you during this time. You just come to your knees and you lengthen one leg behind you and then the other. But if down dog doesn't feel too bad for you, then that is your position. Here I'm showing the opposite or the other option, and you may want to do this regardless of doing it down dog. So you come to your knees and you just lengthen one leg behind you. And you come again into your downward facing dog. And then coming to your knees, swinging your legs forward. And once again, pulling out your props and placing them between your legs. Now this is actually a forward fold. It's not a wide-legged forward fold, where that is the intention. So you may want to keep your legs completely together and the props on top of you. You may also want to put a pillow underneath your knees if having the legs straight is too uncomfortable. But for me, because of my hip anatomy, I like to place them between my legs and keep my legs relatively together. So I'm not opening my legs as far as I can. I just have a slight separation between them so that my hip joints can relax. I also like to pull my seat muscles back. I inhale, lengthen the spine, And then exhale, fold forward. And here I'm illustrating how you can prop yourself up. What we are trying to do is to support our head and our upper body. So if your head is not quite coming far enough down, you use enough props and pillows to have your head and your forehead resting onto something so that you can actually relax your neck. And once again, this is a forward fold. This is inward, keeping your eyes closed, finding that stillness, finding that quiet. And I like to hold on to my feet, but you may not want to. So your feet can be active if it feels better for your heels to point those toes up. But if there is no bother to you, then you just keep your feet relaxed, having them fall exactly as they naturally will fall. And all these forward folds are also really nice for the spine. We are not worried too much about having the spine lengthened versus rounded. We do what comes natural to us. And often a rounded spine can be nice during this time, really separating those vertebrae away from each other, creating space, and then lengthening through the lower back. And this position also lengthens the back side of the lower body. And you may feel a sensation in your hips. Keeping the inhale deep and the exhale long. And you may experience that while we are here, you may fall deeper and deeper into the position. Coming up, lifting the upper body, moving the props to the side, leaning backwards onto your palms, and drawing the knees in, having them fall from side to side. Windshield wipers, as we call it today. Crossing the legs, coming onto all fours and back into your down dog if that is okay. Otherwise, you come to your knees like we showed previously, lengthening one side and the other. Walking the hands to your legs and then coming into a squat position. A wonderful position for this time of the month. If your heels are lifted off the floor, you lift them up and you place something underneath them. And you may want to place your fingertips on the ground and inhale, lengthen the legs, and then exhale, coming into a squat. Or you may want to just hang out in the squat, depending on our hip mobility, hip anatomy, and the availability. Now this area of the body tends to tighten up if we don't work on loosening it, working on our breath. So this position is a wonderful position for this time of the month. Draw awareness to your womb and see if you can relax that bottom part of your belly, allowing your body, allowing your womb to do what it's supposed to do. Lengthening through the legs, swaying from side to side. I call this the waterfall position. Dropping the head heavy, just moving. Walking the hands forward into, once again, a down dog. Lowering the knees down, coming to a seated position. And once again, swinging the legs forward. This time keeping the right leg bent. The right foot on the inside of the left leg. Propping yourself up. Inhale, lengthening the spine, and exhale, folding forward. Now we are not trying to pull ourselves into this position. We are trying to relax into it. So prop yourself up either on top of that left leg or right on the inside of it. And moving your head to one side if that feels more comfortable to you. So we are falling with ease into each and every position. We are not forcing, not pushing, not pulling, not wanting. We are just being. The membrane between the left and the right hemisphere of the brain is more thin for women during this time of the month, so the two sides are more connected, allowing us to have greater visions, see solutions, and connect these two parts of the brain together. So be receptive and open to any message, any idea that might pop into you in your brain, your mind, your body, while keeping the awareness to your breath. Once again, another forward fold. Working on the back side of the body, hips. Now your left foot can be pointed towards the ceiling, or you can just relax it. You can have your right leg relaxed, or you can move the right knee slightly closer to the earth. Finding stillness. Lifting the upper body up, moving the props to the side. And then, once again, windshield wipers, having that blood circulate back into the legs. Leaning onto your palms. Fingers can point towards your bum or away from it, up to you. Slowly changing sides. Right leg is straight. Of course, you could put a pillow underneath that right leg, underneath that right knee if that feels comfortable to you. Keeping the left insteps or the sole of that left foot towards the right thigh. A seated head to knee position. Trying not to pull, not to force, not to push. A highly yin inspired practice. So yin yoga is that feminine yoga practice. It's the stillness. We work with time and gravity. We work with the tissues of the body. It's the passive, it's the receptive part of our being, of the universe, of the practice. We are honoring that part, the feminine, during this moment, during this time, during this practice. Inhale deep. Exhale long. And then slowly inhale, lifting the upper body up, moving the props to the side and coming onto all fours. And then moving through a wildcat once again, circulating that upper body, changing sides, or do a traditional cat-cow movement. Coming onto a seated position, taking a couple of neck and head rolls, inhaling as the head comes back and exhale as the head moves forward. Moving through the upper body, circulating that upper body, or you can do a seated cat-cow. We inhale as we arch and we exhale as we round, changing sides. Free movement, connected with the body and the breath. Hands to the earth, coming again to a seated position. So we are coming to a reclined butterfly, keeping the soles of the feet together and placing the props behind you, behind your tailbone. So as you exhale, you lean back and you rest on the props, allowing the knees to fall to the side, making yourself comfortable. And for many, it can be very comfortable to place the hands on the womb. But if this is too much of a back bend for you and too much of a heart opener, you may want to remove the props behind you. And you may want to put a blanket over you and coming into a reclined butterfly here. Also, if it feels good for you, you can place a pillow underneath your legs, underneath your knees, so that gravity is not pulling too much, still allowing the hips to open. Now, the reason some may not want to have the props behind their back is because it is very much of a heart opener, and that position makes us quite exposed. It makes us quite vulnerable, actually. And during this time, it just may not feel right. And if that is the case, then we honor it. Honor our bodies, our intuition. Because our intuition knows what she is doing. Our body knows what she is wanting. And we listen. That is the practice. That is our job. Placing the hands where you feel comfortable, where it feels okay to you. And breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Now you may feel okay to just be here in the quiet, or you may want to just notice that lower part of your belly where the womb is located, where she is situated. And then breathe a little bit more into this part. So anatomically, our bodies are doing such a big job during this time. And she's naturally requiring rest. And if you feel any menstrual cramps, any pain or discomfort in the lower part of your belly, it is very natural, but we don't want it to be too much, so breathe into it. But if you do experience it, you should know that this is because the body in the bottom of our belly is reacting similarly to an inflammation. Drawing your knees into your chest and just hugging yourself here. And slowly coming into half a happy baby. We're starting with the left leg. So the left hand on the inside of the left leg, grabbing a hold of the outside of your left foot. And you can choose to keep that right knee bent or you lengthen it. And slowly changing sides, drawing that right shoulder to the earth. Notice how the right arm now is crossing in front of my right shin. So we are not behind it, we are in front of. Once again, drawing the knees into your chest, placing the hand on each knee, keeping the knees together and make small circles. We are wanting to massage the tailbone. A lot of nerves cross this part of the body, and especially during this time, When massaging this part of the body, we are releasing the nerves and reducing discomfort in the body and also tension. Changing sides and then slowly coming into a gentle twist. Now you can keep a pillow underneath that bottom leg, between the legs. You can look to the opposite side or you can look to the ceiling. And slowly inhale and exhale to the other side. So the legs are now coming towards the left and you're looking towards the right. Gentle and kind to the body. Coming back to center and then preparing for Shavasana. It's very nice to use a blanket during this time to wrap yourself in and feeling that sensation of being held, being covered, taken care of. Keeping the legs slightly apart and the hands slightly away from the body. Now if you feel the need to ground yourself, more connection to the earth, you may keep your palms facing the earth. But if you don't feel like that, I would like you to turn the palms towards the ceiling, towards the sky, opening up the shoulders. Inhaling deep, exhaling slow. Practice releasing, letting go, being still, being silent. Inhale, exhale, letting go. And slowly drawing the knees to your chest. Finding a comfortable position on the right side of your body. Resting here. And then coming up to a seated position, lengthen the spine. Placing one hand on the heart and one hand on the womb. Breathing. You may also like to keep both hands on the womb. Honoring, loving, connecting. Placing the hands in front of the heart, bowing the head forward. May all beings be happy and at peace and free from suffering. May you be happy and at peace and free from suffering. Namaste.